Alright, fuel is in the hopper, and this is a hardwood fuel. On the camera it looks quite light in color, but it's actually quite dark, almost like a rum or whiskey color. So we will close that. And I use a little tote here for storing pellets. So what we're going to do is throw a little handful of pellets right here on the fire pot, and right in the corner, right here. Probably can't see it very well on the camera, but there's a little hole which allows for ignition. So let's get some fuel. We'll put a little scoop, and doing that speeds up the ignition process. Safely closed. Now my stove, I usually set it to 1, blower speed of 9, and then I push the on button. And this is where the magic happens. So it usually takes, give or take, about 5 minutes to start up. I'm filming this on an Android smartphone, so I don't really know how to edit these on a smartphone. So by all means, feel free to skip ahead. It's probably going to be a little bit boring. So anyways, while we're waiting for it to start, that is where the hot air comes out, and it's blown through a little 160 cubic feet per minute room blower. If you know anything about the Fasco motors, let me know, because I think I might have to replace these before too long. And this burn pod actually is removable, which I should do at some point, and replace the gasket. There's 2 bolts right there that hold it in place. So you just loosen those off, and that slides right out. So if you hear a whistling noise, what that is there's an air wash system for the glass, which is right under here. If I stick my finger there, it quiets it down. And it's supposed to keep the glass clean, which it does do an okay job. The glass will still fog up with ash and other byproducts of combustion. Not a whole lot going on in there yet, other than just pellets feeding in. Some pellet stoves have a little more advanced feeding system than what mine does. Some of them just use a little worm auger that pushes them from the bottom of the hopper up a little chute, and then drops them down from the top into the burn pot. But as you can see, this one pushes in from the bottom and from the rear. From what I understand, these bottom fed units will actually burn a lesser grade pellet with a little more ease. Top fed stoves are more susceptible to smothering, But bottom fed stoves are also more susceptible to hopper fires. I've only ever heard of a couple that have ever happened, and usually it's due to gross neglect of your stove and just never maintaining it. And like I said, my comment there, I have to run a chimney brush through my chimney once in a while. I usually do it once every couple of months. It doesn't put out a whole ton of ash, but you should do it once in a while. There's a little clean out cap on the bottom of the chimney there, and I just run the brush up. So it's drawing combustion air from outside, and it's starting to smoke now. About the only time you'll see visible smoke in the pellet stove. So yeah, you can see it's starting to let out a bit of smoke there. And we should have a flame before too long. A bit of a spark. Now, with regards to running these on a thermostat, you can. This one will run on a thermostat. However, our house is quite big, and this stove is the smallest stove that the manufacturer makes. This one is made by England Stove Works. I figured to give them a little bit of a plug. I got this stove used from a coworker for a really good price, so I can't complain there. And I did have to call their technical support line, and they've been really good, so I figured they deserve a plug. And yeah, what was I saying? Oh, right, the thermostat. This stove is compatible with thermostat. Some stoves, when you run them on a thermostat, they'll go on and off using the automatic igniter. This one does have the igniter. However, this stove, if you run it on a thermostat and it's not calling for heat, it runs in basically what's called pilot light mode. So it will always have a small fire going, and it'll always be pushing some sort of heat, even though it's not much. And then when the call for heat comes, it will push a lot more fuel in and ignite. Some pellet stoves, when they call for heat, they will start up the automatic ignition and ignite from a cold start, but this one will not. So it's starting to get a tall flame. A lot of pellet stoves you see probably won't have as big a flame as this. Bottom fed stoves I've found tend to have a larger flame than the top fed stoves. Probably due in part because there's a lot more pellets in that burn pot right now than you would find in the average top load. So we'll let it run here until it gets at a startup mode. So on the side of the stove here, it says SU, and that'll go away, and you'll see just the green LED there when it is in full operation. And we'll hear the fan kick on here before too long. But there are pros and cons to pellet stoves. I actually had a power outage today, and I had to go outside and hook up my generator into my UPS. I use that as a UPS. Works pretty good. I got it for Christmas last year, and I've been quite impressed with